What's up, world? It's your boy Fast checking in with you with another one. You got people that want to try to get some type of get back or some type of revenge in the penitentiary because something might happen to them to where they felt like the situation wasn't right. So they felt like, they need to do something again to make the situation right for themselves. I remember this dude, his name was Rose. Now, Rose was a black dude. I mean, he had waves in his hair. He had some gold teeth. He was kind of built, but he wasn't built like that, But the only thing that was wrong about him is that he was a buddy hustler. Now, the buddy hustler is somebody that always in somebody's face 24/7, at their door, talking to them, trying to be friends with everybody. I was at Ellsworth Correctional Facility. It's a medium back in 2005, and I probably been down probably about a year. I was roommates with this dude named Chuck. Now, Chuck was an old head dude. He was cool as a motherfucker. He was kind of educating me on a lot of stuff, to make sure that I wouldn't go back to the penitentiary. Basically give me that jailhouse schooling, And him and Rose, I guess they was cousins. So they always come, at the door talking and stuff like that, So one day, sitting on the bed, just doing my normal thing, relaxing. Somebody knock at the door, boom, 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 boom. I said, come on in. So when it came in, it was Rose. So Rose was like, where Chuck at? I was like, he's on the yard, right now. He was like, when he come back, tell him to come down and holler at me. So I was like, all right. So probably about an hour later, that's when Chuck comes in. And I was like, hey, Rose wants you to come down and holler at him. He was like, all right. So he leaves out real quick, goes down and holler at him. He come back probably about 15 minutes later. And when he come back in his cell, he's like, damn, man, you know what I'm saying? Shit, that nigga Rose always getting into some type of bullshit. Somebody I just checked him, because he was in their face talking to him. And I was like, shit, did they? And he was like, yeah. I was like, shit, who was it? And he was like, it was this dude named Black. So I was like, shit. Black is a youngster. He probably about 20 at this time. He was real short. He wasn't no hype at. He hung around gangs and stuff like that, but I don't think that he was in no type of gang. He just hung out with them and stuff. But yeah, Black, he was like one of them dudes, you know what I'm saying, you don't really, kind of fuck with, I didn't really know him like that, so I didn't really know how he moved and things. But yeah, I just knew that he was on some type of crazy shit at times. He always was loud with people and stuff. So he telling me, that he got into it with him. So I'm like, shit, all right. So I go downstairs, and when I go downstairs, to the day room, I'm just basically going out to peep out the situation to see if everything's going to be all right, So when I get down there in this day room, it wasn't nobody sitting at the tables, or anything like that, or watching TV. The only person that was on the phone was that dude Black. So I seen that, and I get up, walk around the pod a couple times, then I go back to my cell. When I get to my cell, that's when I seen Rose in there talking to Chuck. And he basically telling him how Black just checked him about, he was just asking him about some magazines and stuff like that. And Black got mad at him and kind of flipped out on him, told him, guess get the fuck out of his face, and he don't want to talk to him. So Rose, but basically telling us, all what happened and stuff. I'm just listening. So then I finally said, hey, man, you can't be doing stuff like that, I'm just trying to be like Chuck, because Chuck was kind of schooling me on stuff. So I'm trying to give him some knowledge, too. I'm just telling him, hey, man, you can't be doing stuff like that. People are already calling you a buddy hustler. So when I said buddy hustler, he get mad. So I'm like, shit, well, just looking at him, and when he get mad, he's like, I ain't no damn buddy hustler, I ain't nothing like that. And Chuck was like, yeah, you is, man, because that's what people, call you. You're always in somebody's face. You're always trying to stir up and always trying to do this. So he's sitting on the toilet right there, so he get up and he walk up out the room. And when he walk up out the room, that's when Chuck, follow behind him, make sure that he get back to his room to where no type of altercation. Because like I said, he kind of mad. So probably about 20 minutes later, Rose comes to the door and Chuck tell him to come in. And when he come in, he's like, hey, I'm about to call Auntie, real quick. If you want to talk to her, just come on down there while I talk to her. And Chuck was like, nah, I probably tell her I'll talk to her this weekend, So he go on, leave out the room, boom, go downstairs. And like probably about 5 minutes later, that's when Chuck was like, I do need to ask her something real quick. So he jump off the bed. And when he jump off the bed, he go to the door. And when he opened the door, he paused for a second. And the look on his face was like, dang, you know, what the fuck, you know? So I jump off the bunk, because I'm on the top bunk. I jump off the bunk, run to the door. And when I run to the door to see what was going on, I look down there, and he's on the, and that's when Rose was on the phone with Black. You know what I'm saying? They was like, both of them was using the phone. They only had 2 phones in the pod at this time. So one's on one phone and one's on the other phone, you know? So Chuck looking at me like, boom, he come back in the room, you know what I'm saying? We both sit down. I sit down on the toilet. He sit down on the bottom bunk, and we talking. He's like, man, I don't know why that dude, you know, doing that old crazy shit. You know, why would he supposed to keep his distance from that man, you know? He was like, shit, I don't know why he doing that. So then a few minutes later, that's when Rose come back up to the door, you know, to our room, and he was basically telling what Auntie said to Chuck, you know. And Chuck was like, hey, man, you know, you got to keep your distance from that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like that. He's like, yeah, man, because shit, what I just heard this nigga say, you know, shit, I don't know if me and this dude got some beef or not, but he was just basically talking disrespectful to me, whoever he was talking to on the phone, talking about I'm a pussy, I'm this, you know, I'm that, you know. I was like, shit, I told you, man, you know what I'm saying? You got to keep your distance from people, you know. You can't always assume that somebody's going to be cool. So he's like, shit, I'll be good. I'm going to go ahead, you know what I'm saying, handle my business. I was like, what type of business you going to handle? You know, so Chuck looking at me, he's like, yeah, what type of business you gonna handle? He said, shit, you gonna see. So I was like, shit, I ain't gonna see nothing, because I ain't gonna be nowhere around that stuff like that. And Chuck was like, yeah, you better not be nowhere around no stuff like that. He said, because shit, what we doing right now, you know, we trying to school you to make sure that you on point with everything, to where you don't get yourself involved in no type of crazy ass shit. So Rose was like, man, I ain't gonna get myself involved in nothing like that, you know. Fuck that dude, you know. I don't give a fuck about him, you know. I don't give a fuck, you know. So I was like, shit, you better, you know, because shit, when you in situations like this, shit, anything can happen, so you got to be real careful and stuff. And he was like, shit, I ain't worried about nothing. So he leave out. Boom. He goes to his room. I don't know what he do. But then, like, probably about 20 minutes later, he come back up to the cell. He's like, man, I'm tired of this dude. You know, I'm about to go out here and handle my business. And I was like, you sure you want to do that? You know, I can't stop you, you know what I'm saying, from handling your business, but I can make sure I can kind of talk to you before you go handle your business to make sure that you're going to be cool with it. So he's like, shit, I ain't worried about it, you know. So he leave out, boom. He come back like probably about 10 minutes later, you know. Everything looked cool. It didn't look like he been doing nothing. So then I guess him and Chuck is talking, you know, about what, I don't know what they was talking about, because I was reading my book at this time. So after they finished talking, you know, Rose leave out the cell. He go do something again. I don't know what he go do, but probably about 30 minutes later, that's when he come back. And when he come back, he got his nose bleeding, you know, and a little black eye, you know, because the eye getting kind of swollen. So Chuck looking at him like, man, what the fuck happened to you, man, you know? And I raised up out the bunk, and I got my feet hanging off. I'm looking at him too, you know. Then I jump down, and I'm looking at his face and stuff like that. I'm like, damn, man, you know what I'm saying? What happened? He's like, shit, me and Black got into it. I was like, you and Black got into it? He's like, shit, because of the way he was just disrespecting me. And I was like, shit, you was disrespecting him too, you know? So then that's when Chuck gets up and he runs out the cell. I guess he runs down to Black's cell, you know, to talk to him, because I guess when Rose got his ass whooped or whatever, Chuck went down there to basically try to intervene on that stuff and to see what was actually going on. So when they get down there, I come out the door. I don't go downstairs in the pod, and I just at the door with the door open, looking over the little beam down the stairs, you know. So that's when I hear, you know, Black yelling real bad. You know, I beat your ass like I just beat, you know what I'm saying, your cousin's ass, you know. And Chuck was like, nah, you ain't gonna do nothing like that, you know. So I yelled down on the run, you know, hey, Chuck, man, come on back up here, man. You know, I said, let that shit slide, you know. So then they was arguing for a little bit longer, going back with words with each other. So that's when Chuck, you know, he walk off and he come back upstairs. And when he come back up in the room, you know, I guess he breathing kind of funny. He's kind of hype, you know. I'm like, shit, man, why you do that shit? You know what I'm saying? That's your people's problem. You know, that ain't got nothing to do with you. Because I'm going by what he was, like I said, he give me the knowledge and stuff like that. So I'm going by, you know, basically, you know, how he telling me, you know what I'm saying, don't do certain things. So I'm feeding him back the same information. Hey, man, you don't need to be doing nothing like that. So then everything chill out, you know what I'm saying, for a minute, you know. I was back quiet, wasn't nobody tripping, you know. You really couldn't tell that something just happened, you know, in one of them rooms probably about an hour ago. So I go back, like I said, I go back to my room, you know, I'm sitting there eating, you know, and that's when Rose come back upstairs. And when he come back upstairs, I mean, he pacing the floor back and forth talking about, damn, man, you know, shit, this shit is bullshit. I need to get some get back or something because, shit, I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying, disrespecting me. So I'm listening to him talking, but I ain't really saying nothing because, like I said, he's on his own time right now because, shit, if he ain't trying to sort nothing out with nobody right now, so ain't no sense in me keep trying to feed no positive information to where I can kind of chill him out. So he walking back and forth and he's up against the wall right there in between the toilet and the bed. He's up against the wall right there where the window's at, and he's talking, you know what I'm saying, basically looking out the window. He basically talking to us, you know, telling how he felt about, you know what I'm saying, the whole ordeal that just went down, you know, and we just looking at him like, shit, you started that, you know. If you wouldn't have never went down there in that man's face asking about no damn magazines, none of this shit, you know, would ever happen, you know. So he's like, shit, I'm gonna have to do something, you know. And I basically got back on that conversation again. You don't need to do nothing, you know. Just go ahead and let that shit ride, you know. You didn't lose, you fought, so people ain't gonna look at you kind of funny. He's like, yeah, but they out there talking about me, you know, how I got my ass whooped and stuff right now. And I said, yeah, they gonna do that, you know what I'm saying, for a minute. But then after a few days, they know that you ain't gonna on no bullshit. They just gonna let all that shit ride. So he's like, all right, man. So he leave up out the room. I guess he go back to his room, you know what I'm saying, for the next night. And then like a couple days later, that's when, you know, I'm like, shit. That's when Rose come back up to the cell again. And when he come back up there, he's still tripping about, you know, what him and Black just went through. And so I'm just looking at him like, damn, man, you still tripping? It's been 2 days, you know, you still tripping about that stuff? He's like, shit, my motherfucking eye, you know what I'm saying, hurt still. So I'm like, shit, all right, man, you know what I'm saying, go put some ice on it, you know. I'm just kind of joking, you know what I'm saying, with him, you know. So I get off the bunk and I go downstairs to use the phone. And when I get down there, Black's sitting at the table. So when I walk to the phone, he's like, hey, sit down with me for a second. And I was like, shit, all right. So I sat down with him. He was like, shit, your boy still tripping about all that stuff? And I was like, shit, I don't know, man. You know, I don't know if he's tripping or whatever he's going through, but he just y'all might just need to talk about something and kind of sort things out. He's like, man, I ain't trying to talk to that dude. I don't want nothing to do with that dude. You know, after what I did to him, I feel like, you know what I'm saying, going up there to do something to his cousin. And I was like, shit, man, you don't need to be doing nothing like that, you know, to him. I said, dude, cool as a motherfucker, man, you know. So he was like, shit, whatever, man, you know, fuck them niggas, you know, I ain't trying to, you know, hear none of that shit, you know, what they own. So then I get on the phone, talk to my people for a minute. Boom, I get off, I go back up to the cell. And when I get back up to the cell, they up in there, Rose and Chuck up in there talking again, you know what I'm saying? So when they get up in there, it was like, shit, what you and Black talking about? I was like, shit, I just basically told Black that he basically needed to, you and him need to talk and sort this thing out because, shit, y'all need to be doing no type of crazy ass shit like that. And he was like, shit, Rose was like, shit, I ain't trying to hear none of that shit, man. Fuck that shit. Fuck that dude, you know? And I was like, shit, just go down there and talk to him, man. You know, maybe I can kind of work something out. But then I was just thinking about what dude said. He ain't trying to hear none of that shit. He want to go up there and whoop everybody up in the cell. So I'm like, shit, hope he don't come up here and try to do no crazy ass shit to me. So after that, Chuck leave the room and Rose sitting there talking to me. And I'm telling Rose, hey, man, you know what I'm saying? For real, you know, we need to come to some type of agreement on something that you ain't going to try to kick nothing off or do nothing kind of crazy because you don't need to put yourself in no type of situations like that. And he was like, shit, man, I ain't trying to really hear none of that stuff. And I was like, you keep saying you ain't trying to hear none of that stuff, but shit, you ain't doing nothing to make the situation even better. You know, because shit, you still sitting here tripping about, you know what I'm saying, something that happened 3 days ago when you need to be worrying about, you know what I'm saying, doing your time. So he get up, he just walk out the room, you know what I'm saying, real fast. Boom. I jump on my bed, and when I get on my bed, you know, I'm sitting there eating some chips, you know what I'm saying, thinking about all that shit, you know. Damn. That's when Chuck come back in there, and when he come back in there, he's like, hey, man, you know what I'm saying, you can't be talking to Black, you know what I'm saying, because if he beat up my cousin like that, you know, I don't want you, you know what I'm saying, talking to him. And I was basically saying to myself, well, you can't tell me who to talk to and who to be friends with. But yeah, I listen to you. You know, I won't talk to the dude or anything like that to get anything caught up between us because me and you real cool cellmates. You know, I don't want no type of beef between me and you. So he was like, yeah, don't be doing no type of crazy shit talking to that dude and get involved with him and stuff like that. So I was like, nah, I ain't gonna do nothing like that. So then that's when Rose come back up to the cell, and when he come back up in there, he's tripping again, you know, over that old same old bullshit, you know. And I'm like, basically, I'm just telling him, hey, man, I ain't saying nothing to nobody. I ain't trying to get involved with nobody. Whatever goes on, you know, with me is my business, you know, and y'all can't tell me who I can talk to and who y'all can't talk to. So Rose was like, shit, you don't need to be, you know, even looking at that dude. And I was like, shit, that goes back to you. Shit, you don't need to be looking at him, you know. You keep your eyes off him just the same way you want me to keep it off me. I'm trying to make sure that I don't get caught up in no bullshit. So then boom, Rose leave up out the cell real quick, you know, go downstairs, you know. And when he go downstairs, I come out for a second, you know, just to do my thing. You know, I'm basically just looking to see what he about to do because he already talking about doing some more crazy shit. So I come downstairs to kind of look, me and Chuck, you know, and we looking around. We don't see him, you know. I guess he's in his room. So Chuck goes over and to make sure that he's in his room. He is in there. So we get up and we go back to, you know, our room. Boom, we sitting up in there. We making something to eat, you know. And while we making something to eat, that's when Rose come back up to the cell again. So I'm like, shit, this motherfucker, you know, I must ain't got no friends because, yeah, I sell 24/7, you know. So when he come in there, he's like, shit, can he have something to eat and stuff like that? And I was like, yeah, this is your last supper, you know what I'm saying? Because, shit, the way you talking to me, making me feel like, you know, you don't even like the way that I'm moving, you know. So he was like, nah, it ain't nothing like that, man. I just want to make sure that everybody that's in the same little group, we all stick together. And I was like, shit, I ain't gonna be fighting nobody over you, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, I don't want you to fight nobody over me, you know. I just want you just to be cool and make sure that you mind your business. And when he said, when mind my business, I'm saying to myself, shit, nigga, mind your motherfucking business, you know, because everything that he was saying, I had a little comeback for, because shit, the way that he was moving, shit, it wasn't right. So then he leave up out his cell with his bowl. I guess he go back to his room and eat, you know. The next day, he come up to the room. I guess him and Chuck talking again. You know, I don't know what they talking about because I leave about the room as soon as he come up in there because I don't even want to listen to none of that bullshit that he's talking about. So I go downstairs, you know, sit at the table and wait till I look up at the cell door. And when he leave, I can go back to my room because, like I said, I'm trying to stay away from him now. So when he leave out, he come down. Boom, I go back up to my room, and when I get back to my room, that's when Chuck's like, man, I think this nigga about to do something crazy. And I was like, what you mean he about to do something crazy? He said, I think that he about to go try to fight Black again, you know, to kind of even the score, because they think he can whoop him. I was like, shit, I hope he can, you know what I'm saying? Because, shit, I'm trying to hurry up and get this nigga, you know what I'm saying, off this whole conversation about retaliation on people because, shit, I don't want... I don't want to get involved in none of that stuff. So, boom, Chuck leave out his room and he go downstairs. And when he go downstairs, I guess he talking to Black now. And I'm saying to myself, you just told me not to talk to Black, you know. So I'm looking, you know, down, and I'm like, shit, what the fuck this nigga doing? So then probably about 5 minutes later, when he come back upstairs, I'm like, man, you just told me not to even go talk to that dude. He said, man, I'm just trying to make sure that my cousin don't get involved in no type of bullshit, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, shit, I feel you. That's the same thing that I was trying to do. Now you doing the same motherfucking thing, you know? So I felt like, you know, he was going behind my back, you know what I'm saying, doing some more faulty ass shit. So then Rose come back up to the cell the last time, and when he come back up there, now he hype, you know what I'm saying? Because I guess Chuck talking to Black made him upset, so now he's real hype now. So he's like, man, what the fuck you doing, you know? And I was like, shit, I told you, man, you know what I'm saying? That's some backstabbing ass shit that you trying to do. And he was like, nah, I'm just trying to make sure that you all right, because I don't want nothing to happen to you. And I'm saying to myself, when he said that, I said, I don't want nothing to happen to none of y'all, you know? Especially me, because shit goes down bad, they gonna come up to my motherfucking cell, and then we all gonna be involved in it. So then that's when Rose was like, shit, man, I'm going to go ahead, man, take care of my business, handle my business. So I was like, all right, man, go handle your business. Go do whatever you have to go do. So when he did that, when he run up out the room, that's when Chuck run up out the room as well, too. So instead of me, like I said, when I see stuff like that, I don't get involved in it. I just stay at my door and I kind of listen, you know. So then they both go downstairs, and when they go downstairs, I guess Rose go into Black's room, and they get to tearing shit up, and you can hear, you know, Rose in the back, you know what I'm saying, kind of screaming, and Black, you know, basically telling him, he's like, I told you I'm gonna whoop your ass again. You know, he was yelling that real loud to where you can hear, you know, boom, 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 boom. You can hear all type of shit going down up in there, you know. It was probably had lasted probably about 3 minutes, you know. So then when Rose come up out the room, I mean, his white tee is ripped up, you know, he got blood on it, you know what I'm saying, because his lip is split up, you know. So Chuck looking over at that shit again, and he's like, shit, boom. I looking too, I'm like, shit, damn, that shit kind of crazy right there. So I yell down there, hey, man, get on up here, man, you know, get on up, get your asses on up here. So that's when Chuck and Rose, you know what I'm saying, boom, they both come upstairs, and when they come in there, you know, I'm looking at them, I'm like, say, I told you, man, you know what I'm saying, you can't be doing shit like that. You know what I'm saying, you got your ass beat twice, you know, over some bullshit. Now you gonna be, what you gonna do now? Stress about this shit again until you get your ass whooped the third time or a fourth time, or how many every times it takes you to where you finally realize you don't need to be getting yourself involved and stuff like that. I mean, people go through all type of changes in the penitentiary. They might think that whatever they did, they can kind of go back and try to change it to where people don't look at them bad. They want some type of revenge or something like that. And it always ends up in a bad situation because most people can't really handle that stuff like that, you know. And I guess Rose at this time, you know, he felt like that whoever put his hands on him, whooped his ass, when Black whooped his ass, that he felt like he was real disrespected because he got an ass whooping. But shit, when you do things that people don't really understand, this is what kind of happens to you. But this is your boy Fast checking in with you with another one. Y'all hit that like and subscribe button for your boy and keep everything rolling. Y'all stay up.